Yeah. I was silent for a really long time because I felt like it didn't matter. I don't, I didn't believe that my experience or anything that happened to me mattered. And I wanted to just forget it. But the more and more that I see the members that I cared about, that I love, coming out of that too, and then just realizing that we've gone through so many of the same traumas, you know, I I would like us all to heal from this. I would love to see those that I love dearly there. Still, I still think about you all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Finding the Alternative. I am your host, Adam, as always, 10-year former member of the WMSCOG. Today, I actually have another Salt Lake City ex-member of the WMSCOG, Kassandra. Good to see you, as always.
Oh my,
I'm going to turn the time over to her, and she's going to introduce herself, and then we're going to ask her some questions and get to know her and get to know her story. Take the floor.
all right. Yeah, my name is Cassandra. I was a part of the Salt Lake City WMSCOG. I think that I said that
Mouthful.
right. Yes. I was there from 2015, I believe. Yes, 2015 until on and off 2021.
Okay.
Um, so a little over five 5 years. And um, I was the kids teacher for some time. I did offerings, like picking up the offerings,
Yep.
and yeah, I mean that was kind of all I was able to get my hands on while I
Well,
was there.
well, I remember you were always preaching, doing preaching practice. I mean, from what I remember, you were always going to educations and stuff. And I remember at the time, um, your husband at the time, he wasn't really active at all. He would come like every now and then for like little events here and there.
Yes,
Um, but I remember you were pretty on top of it. I remember you passing off subjects, and I remember you preaching all the time. So, and you were a pretty faithful member, if I remember correctly.
I was, yes. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while, so I did forget. But some of that stuff, as far as like, right, the good stuff that I did there, I guess in their eyes,
Yeah.
preaching and passing off sermons. But yes, me and my two daughters were in there and they even started doing their little studies, that they started trying to
Yeah.
have the kids do as well. And so my then husband actually did not believe, and there there was a lot of friction there because of that, the fact that I was very faithful. I was there every Sabbath day. I was there for every feast. Me and
Right.
my kids fasted for every feast, you know, and obviously looking from the outside in, that doesn't look very good to someone, right? Especially kids not being able to eat for hours at a time throughout a day. So yeah, definitely
So,
very faithful.
yeah, one thing I want to actually bring up, and you brought up a good point, the kids fasting, right? So
Yes.
me personally, when my kids were babies, I never made them fast because I know it was technically required, but at the same time, me as a parent, I'm like, I can't make my babies fast, like especially like babies, right?
Right.
Like I know some newborns that their moms made them fast. They were like
Oh,
weeks or months old and they fasted.
yeah.
Like and it wasn't the mom's choice. It was because they were told to.
Right. No, yeah,
Because we're
100%.
we're all sinners, right? We're all sinners deserving hell. We're all sinners deserving death. Like the baby is a sinner too. This baby committed sin against God in heaven and deserves every punishment imaginable. So yeah, they need to fast. And I remember
Yeah.
that being taught.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then just the hours to have to get them up in the mornings, right? For like their early morning
Yeah.
prayers. And they had to stay awake. Like you
Yeah,
had
you
to
can't
try
sleep.
and wake them up. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like they had to stay
Hmm.
up in the kids' room, sit them up. They needed to sit in their own chair, get them up, put their veils on. Like they have to be awake to listen to these words that they don't even understand, you know?
Not at all.
And it was it was really hard, and but I believed 100% that everything that I was being told was true, and I had to
Yeah.
do this because like you said, we are all sinners, and in order to be able to go to heaven, this is a sacrifice we must make, including our kids.
Right. And I remember, and they would all be like, "Oh, it's so precious, it's so cute, right? Oh, it's look at these little babies' faith. It's like that's not cute, right? Like these kids
Yeah.
are miserable. Like
Yeah.
I remember having to go. So I bring one of my kids, set them up. Go and grab another one, set them up. Go and grab another one, set them up. All like 4:30 in the morning. You're like, oh no, it's the appointed time. Oh, we have to hit 5. It's almost 5 a.m. I have to keep. It's such and this is like days on end, right? It's not just
Yep.
once, it's days on end, more than a week. It's 10 days at a time at some
Yeah.
cases. And then not on top of that, then you have the evening ones too, where it's like you have no time and it's school. No one cares if it's school.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to put school above God's commands, right?
Right.
They don't care if it's a school night. They don't care if you have to work early in the morning. They don't care.
No, they don't. Not at all.
And with the little ones fasting, so you said you made your babies fast, correct?
Yeah. So they were the only thing is that I did let them drink water, even though that wasn't something that they allowed. I would have them drink water before we got there because I knew, the drinking fountains were covered. There
Yeah.
was no access to water in there other than right the faucets to be able to wash our hands or whatever. And
Right.
but outside of that, like we would be there all day, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do? And of course, um, as soon as I feel like as soon as the hour hit, there's still that time that they take to go and get the food and whatnot. I did bring snacks for the girls to have something like as soon as the fasting was done, right? Or
Yeah.
lifted so that we can eat. And yeah, but I remember it was really hard for me, and it was very heartbreaking for me to try and explain to them, like, I know you're hungry right now, but you can't eat anything because God suffered for our sins. So now we need to suffer so that we can be made whole. And I can just see my daughter's faces, right? They were just very confused and not sure why we had to do this, but they just figured since everyone else is starving themselves, okay.
How old were they when you made them fast? And when I say you, I mean it wasn't you. It was
Yeah,
obviously the organization that imposed this on you, or at least influenced you in some way to do this.
right.
How old or how young
Um,
rather?
yes, very young. I didn't do it for the youngest. When she was first born, as a newborn, I was still breastfeeding her because I didn't think it was right. But my oldest, she was, I believe, 2 was the age when I started to have her fast.
Yeah,
And then same with the youngest.
yeah. My cutoff was 3. So when they were 3, I was like, okay, you're. But to make a newborn fast, and I'm just saying, I have seen newborns, or at least maybe not like right out the womb, right? But
Right.
because it's pretty rare for a baby to be born during the feast per se. But I mean like weeks old, maybe a couple months old, right?
Hmm.
And the nurses say you need to feed them like every hour, right?
Right.
Like they need to be fed constantly. Like you and me as adults, we can go days without eating, we'll be fine. Their
Yes.
bodies are tiny. They're not used to this world yet, right? They're only a couple of weeks old, a few weeks old,
Right.
but now they're having to fast because of this made up sin.
Oh
Like
yeah.
seriously, like a baby. a baby has to fast because of this obscure sin, which
Yeah.
is not biblical, by the way. We are not sinners from heaven. We are not angels or anything like that. Um, just in case you're wondering. But
I appreciate that. Yes, thank you.
yeah, just in case you're wondering. But still, it's like they're babies.
Babies, yeah.
Um, and another reason why we do these interviews too is, of course, we want everyone to tell their story. Everyone is entitled to tell their story, whether it's a good or bad story, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, thankfully, this church is a very reactive church. And so when they see these things come to light, even if people don't leave, at least we could possibly make it better for them, those that stay,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
they'll get rid of the dumb rules of babies need to fast or these kind of just completely this lunacy.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And it's just so crazy how I know in your interview with Diana you mentioned, that a lot of the overseers don't even have children and they're the ones that push it the hardest, especially with
Yeah,
fasting. I remember the overseer's wife at that time was actually very, very persuasive on saying they'll be fine. They're just kids. They can go without eating for so long. Like, yeah, they're going to be fussy, but don't worry about it. Like, they'll be fine. They're going to get fed. They will get fed. We have meals here for them. It's just they can't have it yet. But don't worry about it. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Just make sure they eat the night before, and then the day of, they'll be okay.
it
And the
makes no
kids were
sense.
fussy. The kids were
Yeah,
fussy, and I love that it was always the moms that ended up having to stay in the kids room with all the kids while all the kids were fussy because no one else wanted to deal with that because they knew that kids don't understand and they can't handle that type of stress on themselves, that they're all going to be mad.
they have complete control over you, and through you, they have complete control of your little ones because you're going to bow to the whim of the cult because they have power over you.
Yeah, 100%. It's the whole fear, right? The fear of being led to hell or not making it, right? Because even if we are
Yeah,
in the truth, there's still going to be some of us that still don't make it according to their beliefs. And then
yeah,
some of us are going to have to die. Some of us
yeah,
aren't going to die at all. But
yeah.
how are you supposed to know who you are?
You don't,
Just keep doing what you're being told and you'll
and we'll
find
see.
out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So you could do all this work for absolutely no reason, which is not
Exactly.
biblical either. As soon as you have faith in Christ, you are justified, you are free, and you are clothed in his righteousness.
Mm.
But the cult is complete opposite. Actually, do as much as you can, and then we'll see. How can you have that faith? How can you live like that?
Yeah.
It's just a constant cycle of fear, a constant cycle of you're never enough. And that's the thing, right? The Bible does say we're not enough.
Yeah.
But that is why we have a savior. Jesus came, did what we could not do, fulfilled the law, was a perfect, holy, righteous offering for God on behalf of all mankind. Through faith in him, we are clothed in him, and we have his righteousness, not our own. We have his righteousness, so we are counted as righteous in God's sight, not by anything we do, but because of grace. That is so much more
Amen.
comforting, and it's biblical compared
Yeah.
to do all these weird random things that we make up, and if you don't, you're probably going to go to hell. But even if you do them all, it's kind of a toss up anyway. Like, how can you live like that, and what kind of a God is that?
Yeah, not only that, it just seems like with the preaching, bearing fruit, right? When it came to bearing fruit, if you didn't bear fruit for a long time, you were looked at as if you weren't
Dead.
doing enough. Yeah, like you're obviously not watering yourself, you're not studying enough, you're not tithing enough, you're not giving enough offering. Whatever it
Yep.
is that they need out of you, like you're not doing enough of it. So you need to do more so that God can bless you so you can bear fruit. Um I'm not a salesperson, and it sure feels like a sales, like we're knocking at people's door trying to convince them that this is what they need.
Yeah.
We're
And
salesmen.
a lot of time, if you can't if you can't convince somebody, they always resort to fear, right? They always resort to fear. They're always like, hey, you should follow it. Like, this is, we do the Sabbath, we do the Passover, we do this. But if you don't, you're going to go to hell,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's always that. It's always based on, coercion, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody is like, even when you hear like the fragrances of people coming into the truth, they're
Yeah.
always like, yeah, I knew that I was going to hell because of what they were saying. I was just scared of going to hell. And it's like, yeah, that sounds like you got coerced into joining. That doesn't sound like, you know what? I was moved by Christ's sacrifice. I was moved by the Holy Spirit to believe in Jesus, who came and died for me and saved me
Right.
from myself, saved me from my enemies, allowed heaven and grace to fall upon. You don't hear anything like that.
No,
You
never.
hear, I was scared. I was terrified, but thankfully I kept the path. Like, something's really wrong,
Yeah.
extremely wrong with that.
It's funny. I used to say a joke because the way I was baptized, I was actually basically held hostage in the room and study after study until I agreed to get baptized.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would always say, well, I was held hostage here by my group leader. And then I finally decided to get baptized.
Let me just throw in a disclaimer, but just so they don't get they
Oh,
don't get worked up. In her opinion, okay.
in my opinion. Yes, in
In
my
my
opinion,
opinion,
I was held hostage. Yes.
we got to be politically correct here.
Yes.
Um, cover all of our bases. Um, I have a question because
Yes.
obviously, when you have multiple kids, this might just be a thing for me. So if it's not a thing for you, I don't want to make it a thing. But I always remember every time I had a kid, everyone kept asking me when I was going to get fixed. Right? Everyone kept asking me, "Oh, are you gonna have another one? Like where are you at with it?" It's like, how about you don't worry about it, because it's none of your business,
Really.
right?
No,
Do I
serious.
need your approval and your opinion to determine my offspring? I don't think so. I don't think I need that.
100%. I agree that it's very much none of their business. And it's sad because they continually say, right, in my opinion, from what I've seen, what I've heard, right,
Now you're getting it.
they have said before that they don't um they're not against people having family, they're not against um children or anything like that, but otherwise definitely act and seem, I would say, they they're very sneaky about it, and they don't say up front like you shouldn't have kids, but they very much like accentuate that you shouldn't have kids because it's not good for the truth, it's not good for bearing fruit, it's not good for you to be able to preach. I personally, um my daughter was already born, my oldest, when I got baptized. So she was about 6 months old when we both got baptized. Um, and I mean, she was an only child. I felt she needed a sibling. And me
Right.
and my then husband agreed that she needs a sibling. So I didn't say anything about trying. Um, but I did end up getting pregnant, and then a few weeks later I had a miscarriage.
I'm
um
so sorry.
Thank you. When I mentioned to my group leader at the time that I was pregnant, she, before I knew about the miscarriage, she knew I was pregnant. um and she just seemed so upset, you know. She said, well, why would you want to go and have a baby? Like, that doesn't make sense. Because now you're not going to be able to preach. Now you're not going to be able to go and do studies and this and that. And I was a little confused, because I was just thinking to myself, like, I don't think that would take away from me being able to do as much as I could, right? So then when I did tell her that I had a miscarriage, she said, you know, God's grace, and it's all in God's hands. It wasn't meant to be then. And maybe it was for the best. And that doesn't feel good. After knowing that you wanted to have a baby and you miscarried, and then you're being told it's God's grace. Like maybe it's all for the best. And thankfully I didn't let that bring me down, and we continued to try. And I was blessed with my second, who has got me through a lot, you know? Kids
Right.
are truly a blessing. And I
There are
remember,
strengths.
oh, 100%. When I found out I was pregnant by her, I wanted to tell my story. I wanted to tell them because I truly believe that, um,
Miracle.
yeah, she is a miracle. I miscarried, and now I'm actually gonna have another. You know, thank God. And I did say thanks to father and mother, right, in their words, that
Yep.
even though I just miscarried not too long ago, God has put me in the position to be able to have another baby. And I remember when I mentioned that I wanted to give this fragrance to my group leader, she said she didn't think it was a good idea, that I shouldn't bring up that I miscarried, that I shouldn't bring up that I'm pregnant, that I should wait. This is news I want to share with my family, right?
We're
Like,
closer than
why?
family.
Oh, yeah.
We're spiritual family. We're closer than family.
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
And yeah. And it's, it's something you don't really think about when you're in that moment. You're just kind of, you're already confused enough when you're there, because you're getting told one thing, but then you're reading the Bible, it's saying another. And then you're asking questions that aren't getting answered, but you're being told, you know, this is what it is. You shouldn't question the truth. Because if you question the truth, you're questioning God. And who are you to
Mm,
question God?
right.
And then, so you're just kind of like, you're just rowing, you know, you're just
Yep.
rowing with everyone else blindly, like the blind leading the blind. And you don't think
Exactly.
about how I want to say evil these people could really be. And um I don't blame them.
Right.
We're all
They're
being,
victims too,
yeah, we're all being guided by the same people.
entity, for
Yeah.
lack of a better, or organization, right?
Yes. I like that word better. Um and it's just the beliefs that are instilled. And I feel like if I would have advanced more, or really had more roles, higher roles, I think maybe I would have fed into that same belief, and I would have told
Right.
someone else the same thing.
Right. Not because
And
you wanted to, but because
no,
that's just how it is. That's just the
yeah,
culture. That's just the system at work.
yes, 100%. And it's because the thought is, if you don't, if you have kids, it takes away from you being able to preach. And if you can't preach, you can't bear fruit. And if you don't bear fruit, then you're pointless there. But why do they want
Yeah.
us to bear fruit so bad? Yes. I've come to the conclusion that it's always been about the money. The second you stop tithing, the second you stop giving offering, the second that you don't want to participate in any of these, right, cooking or whatever it is, then they start slowly cutting you out. You
Yeah.
slowly stop feeling the love.
Well,
You,
because you have the ick.
yeah,
You have the ick. They got to separate you so the gangrene doesn't spread because you're starting to come to your senses, and we
yes,
can't have that. That is
mhm,
not okay.
yeah,
It's honestly so just like so. I've been out for like a year last
hmm,
week at this point,
oh
and
wow,
yeah, so I've been out for almost little over a year this week, last week here, and it's just the amount of control that these people have. Just looking back on everything is so astounding to me. Like they control mostly every aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
And and I want to address the viewers here because I know they watch it. I know there's viewers that watch it and they probably hate me or whatever. It's fine. But just know that we love you. Okay, you can think of however you want to think of me or Kassandra, I don't want to speak for her, but we're doing this not because this is fun, right? We're not doing this because this is just we have nothing else to do. We're doing this because we care about you and we love you.
Yes.
And sometimes love hurts, and sometimes love is hard. Love is really, really hard. But I want you as the member to think about something. In the Old Testament, kids are considered a blessing. Are they hard? Yes. Are they frustrating? Yes. Do they cause the worst pain in your life sometimes? Yes, 100%. But the Bible says in the Old Testament that they are a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Also in the New Testament, too, they are a blessing. Jesus said, "Do not hinder the children from coming to me." Right?
Yes.
Jesus was all about the children. Paul, he talked about taking care of your family, taking care of the children. Children have always been a priority to God. But going back to, you had that trauma in your life.
Mm-hmm.
A normal person would have been like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that that happened to you. I'm sure, God has a plan for everyone. I'm sure God had a plan for that little baby. I'm sure that this is going to work out. I'm sure everything will be fine. Believe in God's grace, God's love, God's justice, God's mercy." But you didn't get that, right? You got to, "Oh, thank you for not being a hindrance to our
Yeah.
cause. Thank you for not being," I mean, obviously these aren't the exact words. I'm just kind of
Right.
getting the vibe, right, of what it is, because you said it's basically it's not what they say, it's how they act, how they carry
Yeah.
themselves during certain situations. Which a famous missionary who left the church, Ron Ramos, shout out to Ron, he said a very wise thing, and I even remember being a member. When I heard this, I knew exactly what he meant. He said, "It's not what they say, it's what they don't say,"
Mm.
right? And they take that and they're like, "Oh, see, so they didn't actually say that, right? They didn't actually say that, so Ron's crazy." But I knew even at that moment, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
They don't say things, but they hint towards things or influence things in a certain way without actually straight up saying it. And I knew instantly what he was talking about. So everyone else who wants to play dumb and claim I don't know I don't know what he's talking about, we know very well what he was talking about. And I think this is a prime example, right? Like you weren't told like, "Oh, you need to, like, it's good your baby," I don't even want to say the words, but it's what they didn't say, right? If you actually cared about you and you actually cared about the little one, those are not the words that you use, and that is not how you would carry yourself.
100% no.
Sorry, I get really passionate about this, so I'll
No.
try
No, I
to.
agree. And you should be
um,
because our kids, I feel like as traumatized as I am, my kids were robbed of a lot of things growing up in there. A lot of
yeah,
things. They didn't get to go to family functions because we were in church. They, as much as I used to deny it to my then husband, right? He would always blame it on Zion. He would say that the reason that we're not together today is because of Zion. And I didn't believe it. But even when he unfortunately went through some addiction, he cried out for my help. And I was told by my group leader, you can't help him by being there. You need to be here in Zion and pray for him. And pray. Father and mother will figure it out for you. You can't do anything for him. You have no power to help him. You need to be here and pray. And I wasn't there for him. I believed it. I believed that I needed to pray for him, and I believed that I needed to be in Zion for him to be okay. And I left him by himself. And he, threw his life away because of that. And
that's heavy.
Yeah.
But I want everyone watching, this is the real world consequences. These are things that unfortunately you can't get back.
No.
Like, I don't care about the money I gave, right? Did I give them a lot of money? Sure. I don't care. I can make that money again. Not a big deal. The thing that you will never get back is the time you wasted, the events you've missed, the important moments in life that you will never get back. And you'll wake up one day, know this is a complete sham and that you've been duped, and you'll think about all these different things that you have done in your life, being in this church, and you'll weep.
Yeah.
You'll weep and you'll weep, wishing that it didn't happen, wishing that you would have done something different. And don't feel bad. It wasn't you, but I guarantee you that day will come. It did to me. It did to Cassandra. Right? I missed my dad's last birthday on earth because I had to keep Sabbath day. Right? I would be doing more, being in the service, right? Worshiping this Korean guy and this Korean woman instead of being with my actual father who was on his deathbed for his birthday because it was during service. Right? I can't go. I can't go. I have to keep the Holy Sabbath day. Right? Through my faith, he'll be saved, right?
Yeah.
And then he ended up dying a few days later. So his own son was not there for him on his birthday, the last big event he had in his life before he shortly passed away. I will never get that back. I
Yeah.
will never be able to say I'm sorry. I have to live with that for the rest of my life. And I'm sure there's plenty of things you have to live with, Kassandra, for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to talk about these things because this is the real world consequences
Yeah.
of what you are doing. And I'm talking to you as a WMSCOG member. I'm sure you can think about things like this that have happened in your life. You might think it's for the glory of God now, but you will come out later and you will weep for these moments. And so I really want to challenge you. Is it worth it? Right? Think about it. Their theology, the WMSCOG theology changes all the time. I can't even tell you how many times I've had to get rid of my notes, where there's like no notes. Get rid of those notes, actually. We don't teach that anymore. Oh, don't read On Sung Hong's original books, right? Don't read his original 3 chapters that we removed. Oh, don't look at any of his other books or writings. Oh, even though this isn't in the Bible, we follow Mother, right? Like, how much can you take? The
Yeah.
prophecies keep changing. They keep like, oh, Father's coming. Oh, Father's coming. Oh, Father. They've been saying that for 40 years. And then I know they'll say, oh, scoffers will come and scoff, right? Where's this coming he promised us? Or is it because you're following a sham? That could be another option too, right? Like, I'm trying to speak to the members here because I know deep down, I know you feel something is off, right? Why can't they record in service? Why can't you have any recordings in service? Because they don't want to be held accountable. Why can't you take notes sometimes? They don't want you to remember it. They don't want you to be able to check their work again.
Right.
Why the secrecy? Why? Like, outside people can't keep service. Why?
Oh, that was another thing actually that I was just recently speaking with a member was that any other church you can walk in.
100%.
But as soon as you step in to this church, whoever's at the front like rushes, who are you? Who did you
Yeah.
come with? Who brought
Who
you
brought
here?
you here?
Yeah. It's as much as they want to say it's not a cult. It sounds like a very secret society that you need to be invited to be able to attend. It's not something open for the public.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I remember one time, you probably weren't here, but have you ever heard of Shincheonji?
No.
So Shincheonji is like another Korean cult, and just before I left, they started doing education about this Shincheonji. It's another Korean cult. It's basically pretty similar.
Wow.
And I know members will say, "Oh, our theology is so different." A cult's a cult. It doesn't matter. But anyway,
100%.
so they started talking about like this Shincheonji, right? And they're like, "Oh, Shincheonji's so bad." They would go dressed up in college clothes and go on campus and have like and pretend to be students and have these seminars. And I was looking around, I'm like, we do that.
Yeah.
We do that. Like, like they talk about all this shady stuff that Shinchinji does. Like, oh, they do all these things, and I'm like, yeah, that's what we do too. Like,
Yeah.
we do those things.
Well, because I
Um,
remember they were excited when we got a college student that went to a college so that then we can have a seminar at
yeah,
that
we can have a
college
club.
because only a student at that college could make
Yeah,
this happen.
I remember I did a seminar at Salt Lake Community College. I think it was like one of our first college seminars, and I
I think I
remember
went to the
there
one
was
at
a bunch of
UVU.
at UVU
I think that's yeah.
or U of U.
You maybe it was U of U. Yeah,
The Utes.
yeah,
Yeah, and the funny thing is they try to paint these cults like these other cults in like a bad light, but it's like it's so similar to us, and they'll be like, oh, Shinchinji, they said this, but then they changed their doctrine to this, and then to this. I'm like, we do that.
yeah.
We change doctrine all the time, but it's okay for us, right? It's okay. We're the truth, right? We can change our truth, but any other cult changes their truth. Oh, false. Ah, you don't know the gospel.
But it's because
Yeah.
we get it from the source, God.
Like, have you ever done like Operation Infiltration? Do you remember that?
Oh, about the internet, right? Of like trying to, was it that?
No, it was like trying to get into like places you're not really supposed to be to preach, like closed apartment complexes that have
No,
codes and stuff. And oh, maybe that's just a me thing, but
no, but
like,
I think I do remember it being a thing. Like, oh yeah, like you just got to wait for someone to come out, and then we like sneak in.
yeah, like no respect for people's property, no
No,
respect for people's like peace or like their own space. Like I remember one time we were at the Capitol building and we were trying to get a picture in like the gold room, I think, and it was like presidents would go there. And for us to get a picture, we moved like this table, right? Like we touched a table that was in there. It was like this big old table, like extremely nice table. I'm pretty sure it was an expensive table. We just all picked it up and moved it. Like just like the amount of like privilege these people think
right.
they have because they think, oh, God is with us, right? We're the only truth. We're the greatest church in the world. Actually, no, scratch that, universe.
Mm-hmm.
And it creates this like holier than thou complex. But Christians, normal Christians, don't have that.
Oh well, and they're all about image.
100%.
100% all about image. I mean, the
In our
news,
opinion.
in our opinion, the news, right, is always there
Yeah.
when they're doing volunteer services. I remember actually my first volunteer service, I have tattoos, right? We were doing burritos.
I remember that.
Yes. And I was folding the burrito. The news, the news, the cameraman wanted to record me rolling the burrito. The overseer's wife came over. They were already recording at this point, but she came over so fast because I didn't have a long sleeve on to cover my tattoos because I was suggested to wear a long sleeve because it just looks better. Everyone's going to wear a long sleeve. Even
Yeah.
my group leader, who didn't have any tattoos on her arms, wore a long sleeve so that I felt like it was a thing. But I knew
Right.
she was telling me because I had tattoos on my arm. But it was confirmed when the overseer's wife came over, tried to stop them from recording because I was wearing the shirt. I was volunteering, but I had tattoos all over my arm. They didn't want that to be on there.
You weren't the kind of material they were looking for.
100% no.
Which I remember that burrito. I was actually there for that burrito project, which is interesting, right? I was actually shocked that we did that because I was like, wait, I thought we weren't supposed to preach to homeless people. Like I remember, I think I even asked that. I was like, why are we doing this? Because like we don't care about homeless people. Like I knew that, right? Like
I didn't know. I
I
was
mean,
fresh in.
oh, there was one time I told it in my Great Light Studio video. There was one time I went to Chicago for a short term. this this person wanted to really believe, right? Really wanted to get baptized. We walked to the building because it was all outside. We went up to the third floor, walked in, studied with them a little bit more. went to get baptized. He was signing the I don't know if you ever
Oh
had
yeah,
no
the form.
the
Yeah.
form, right? Yeah, he signed the
Yeah.
form, and they're like, "What's your address?" And he said an address. We're like, "Oh, is that the homeless shelter?" And then after that, they're like, "Yeah, he's not getting baptized." And so I had to like tell him to put his clothes back on and take the robe off. I'm like, "Yeah, next time, maybe when you get your life together, we'll be here or something like that." So like, it's very clear that I mean, and I was not the one that originally. I was told to basically shoo him away, right?
Way. Hmm.
And they can deny it all they want, and if they change after this, good, right? Like, if they're like, oh, we preach to homeless people now, and they actually start doing it, and whatever, great. They're very reactive, so that would actually be a good step, right? Because the gospel's for
Right.
everybody. I
Yeah.
wouldn't recommend the WMSCOG gospel, but I digress here. So, so let me kind of get a little bit of your story here.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, you were in for 5 years. We probably can't go over everything, but you kind of explained how you were baptized. You kind of felt a little coerced into getting baptized, right? So you obviously became an active member, even so much so that obviously there was that situation with you and your husband. You and the girls were always coming, and then your husband was obviously staying at home.
Mm.
Um, and then you said you left in 2021.
Yes.
What is it that made you finally um, leave?
Um, for me, it was the covering of other people, favoritism. In my opinion, it was favoritism. And just the fact that they will cover for those who have done the most, who are most loyal to them, to their beliefs, to whatever it is that they want out of people, whether it's tithing, offerings, whatever it is. Um, and I had a falling out with my group leader.
Okay.
Um, there was a lot of things happening in the background where I was involved. I was there. A lot of sins were happening. Me and my then husband had separated. I was going through a
A
life
lot.
change, yeah. Um,
Really, yeah.
not only did we separate, but I lost him to his addiction. My kids no longer had a dad. I ended up becoming a single mother of 2 children, and I had to fend for myself for the first time in
A
over
long time.
over 4 years, right?
Yeah.
um, and so they were little. I started to look out into the world, and my group leader followed me. You know, we were doing a lot of worldly things, and
Mm.
in their opinion, right, going out to bars, drinking, you know. But it was just like
So
I
you were doing this together, right? Like it wasn't
together.
like you heard this from somebody, like you were
No,
their eyewitness. Okay.
we were there together. Um, and you know, I but I was still going. I was still going to Zion on the weekend, and so was she. She was still showing up bright and early, but I never hid who I was, what I did. I started working at the bar that we went to. Everyone knew. Everyone knew. Anyone that asked me, I was an open book. Yes, I'm working at the bar. Yes, I'm no longer with my ex. I'm a single mom. I'm trying to make ends meet any way that I can. But I was told to not say anything about her by her, right? Don't mention this to anybody. Don't tell anyone we hang out outside of here because it's just gonna look bad. I had so much loyalty towards my group leader that I did everything she said. I
Did
would
you
have
love her like as a
I
friend? Did
loved
you
her.
feel like
No,
yeah,
she was more than a sister to me. Like that was deeper than my blood sister to me in my eyes.
right.
Like we were like, two peas in a pod. Like she was like in my mind, you have a soulmate that you're like you just click with, whether it's like a friendship or an actual relationship. And from what I see it as, and I really
Right.
truly meant we were meant for each other, to be friends with each other, to go through life together. And then things started catching up to her, with her then husband, and things started falling onto me. And I was starting to get told, you know, um, my cousin got involved. He was living with me, and then, he was getting thrown under the bus along with me, saying that it was my fault that he ended up in her house, you know?
Yeah.
And so then her husband started to look at me a certain way. And I was very confused as to why I'm getting the blame for it. Yet here's this perfect group leader who continues to have her role, who continues to be praised by the overseer. And has anyone reached out to me to see what's going on with me? No. No one reached
Did
out
the
to me.
church did the church help you at all with your situation?
No, not at all. Not in any
Is,
way, shape, or form.
isn't that what church is for? Like, if a church sees that a member is going downhill and that is seeing that, whether leader or not, right? We're all sinners, guys. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, we're all sinners. We all do things, right? The problem is this self-righteous complex that is built in to this organization.
No,
Zero
yeah,
help.
100%. And I believe that. And I believe that we were both going through a lot. We were both looking for an outlet. And unfortunately, it went down that path, right? But like I had mentioned, in my opinion, favoritism. She had received a call from mother saying she's forgiven and everything's okay. But I was the one that wasn't going. She was still in Zion. So in my mind, I thought to myself, well, if she cares so much about her, who, regardless of it, again, I don't blame her. Like you said, I definitely don't blame her. And I understand where she was coming from. But with everything they teach, God, we should be holier than thou. We shouldn't do these, especially leaders, right? Like leaders should never dip their foot into the world at all, right? Yet she was um she was still going. But I needed help with my faith. I was breaking away. I wanted to leave. And no one, it was like, oh, okay, well, she's not that big of a contribution, so if she goes, it's all right. So that's where I started having an issue, where I started feeling like, oh, okay, they don't really care about me. I'm no longer contributing to their cause. So I'm easy enough to just toss away. I was never
Well,
contacted for anything, you
and
know?
and and to your point too, I mean, and this is where image comes back, right?
Yeah.
I think instead of somebody who's hurt, broken, who's miserable, going through stuff, and I'm coming to the defense of the leader here.
Yeah.
I'm coming to the defense of the leader. I think she was broken, she was
Mhm.
hurt, and you being a leader, you can't tell anyone, right? You can't say anything. Like I remember being a leader, right? You can't talk to anybody about your problems.
If that group leader is listening, I do want to say I am sorry. Um, I'm sorry I was so caught up in your image that I forgot you were human too. And I forgot that you go through things, and that you did need someone just as much as I needed someone too. And I honestly believe that the reason that maybe she pulled away was because she realized we were both going in the same direction and she needed to do better. So she needed to pull away, to not be a part of it anymore. And unfortunately, it left us both hurt, you know. Um, I lost someone that I thought I had a lot of love for me, and I lost the family that I had built for 5 years. It just all like blacked out. Oh, I know. I'm sorry.
And all of a sudden, it's going to go from like black to like, boom, here I am. Oh, boom.
I know. We were like, sorry, we were having some technical difficulties throughout this.
Yeah. This is
Um,
actually a week later, guys. Just kidding.
um, I can't remember what I was saying.
I would remind you, but I didn't hear what you were saying. So.
What did you say?
Oh no. I was just saying. I wish I could remind you what you were saying, but I didn't hear what you were saying. So.
Oh, that sucks. Okay. Um,
So you're talking about like you were saying like
I was
you are
apologizing. Yeah.
sorry, yeah, you're apologizing, and then you said, and then it kind of you stopped, and you were about to begin something else, and then it cut off.
But I finished my apology.
I think so.
Okay, cool.
Um,
um, I mean, I feel like we're always left in the dark for a lot of things, right? I feel like before, or there's just, they're kind of going day by day as well, I believe, from my opinion, from what I've seen, from when I first got baptized to when I left. When I got baptized, I wasn't told about Ansang Hong. I wasn't told about God the Mother. I wasn't told
really?
about any of this. No, I was given studies about like the Sabbath day, um, and I basically just love the love that God has, the sacrifice, and everything that had to do with baptism. I didn't
Hmm.
even, they even warned me, you're going to hear a name when you're getting baptized. Don't be alarmed.
Wow.
I was like, okay, kind of okay, you know? And then, yeah. And then I kept seeing this woman at the front of every picture that was everywhere in the church. And I was like, who is that? You know? And my friend was the one that brought me, actually. My childhood friend brought me
Uh,
in. So I wasn't preached to on the street. I was
gotcha.
brought in, and was taught. Um, and I remember she would tell me, "Oh, you'll know soon." So everyone was basically told, "Don't talk about them yet. You got to get them in first, like get them comfortable, and then we'll talk about them." Because at that point, you're already too far in for you to like kind of like, oh, I gotta go, because at this point
Yeah.
they've convinced you that everything they're saying is true.
You committed. You
Yeah,
baptized. You got baptized. You committed already.
yeah, and now you're, and then they teach you about baptism and what it means and what it means to leave after you're baptized, right?
Yeah.
That fear is instilled in you so that you're just like, oh my gosh, okay, this has to be true. And then they show you, if you have questions, multiple Bible studies, right? That they can give you at that moment so that you will believe, right?
Right.
But then I remember towards the end, if they didn't know the name of Ansang Hong, if they didn't know about God the Mother, we couldn't get them baptized. What changed? No one ever
Uh,
told us anything about what changed, at least not us, the members.
yeah.
We were just told this is what it is, but we're already so far deep in that we just say amen to
Yeah.
everything
I'm in.
because
What's
we're
the word
taught.
for that? Indoctrinate, something like that. It's just my mind. Oh, indoctrination. That's what that's called.
Yeah.
Coercion. Oh yeah. Sorry, coming back to me now. Okay. Uh, that's what that's called. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's just that's not what baptism is for. Baptism is a confession of faith. Believe in Jesus and be baptized. Not be baptized and we'll tell you a little bit about this Jesus a little bit later. We'll see where you're at and we'll kind of put the pieces together and then maybe we'll tell you a little bit more about him.
Yeah.
That does not, no. Like baptism is a confession of faith. In order for you to have faith, you need to know what you're believing in. That is the complete opposite of what the Bible teaches about baptism.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just absolutely crazy how. Anyway, moving on. But so the fact is, you didn't know about Unsung Hong. You didn't know about Zangyo Cha, God the Mother. You just kind of, little by little here, little by little there, kind of like the prayer of our wishes, right? Like you kind
Yeah.
of pick it up piece by piece by piece, and then eventually, like, hey, I'm saying it. Still don't know what I'm saying, but I'm sure saying it.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just
And
there's so many
I
things.
remember that caught me off guard the first time I went into a service. I was like, why is everyone speaking a different language that I'm not understanding? I thought there was something else going on for a second that
Speaking in tongues.
oh my god, they're casting a spell, you know? It really caught me off guard. And then I mean, obviously I had my friend there who I trust dearly, and even to this day we still talk, although she is still a part of the church. But um
Right.
you know we've been childhood friends all our lives. There's definitely a separation between the relationship we had in there to the relationship we had outside of it. And I think I'm hoping and I'm praying, to the real God, that she can
See you one
see.
day.
Yes, because um she has a very kind heart, and it hurts me even more to see that they really feed on the weak, you know, those
And the
who are
vulnerable.
really looking, yeah, those who are looking for the truth, those who have a kind heart, those who are genuine people, because we genuinely think we're helping people
Yeah.
based on what we're taught to believe.
Yeah.
We genuinely think we're spreading love. And you know it's that's another thing, the love bombing. You get loved so much when you first come in.
But then
You
it
get
dies.
text messages, you get house visits, you get gifts, you know, you get taken out to go eat, to spend time together as sisters. And the next thing you know, you barely even remember ever talking to that person because they don't even remember your name sometimes, you know? Like you
Oh,
just become someone
sister.
that walks by. Yeah, you know? And it's like, what happened? Like, I
Yeah.
was so excited to be here. You guys made this seem so fun and so loving and joyful. Yet now here we are. Everyone's bickering. And now there's a
Yeah.
lot of envy going on.
Yeah. You rolled
And
out the red carpet for me to come,
yeah,
right? But now that I'm here and I'm staying here, now you guys act like you don't know me. You don't care. You don't um and I don't blame them for feeling that way because obviously they're taught to fake so many emotions. And when
yeah,
you're taught to fake so many emotions for so long, naturally you have a hard time actually feeling emotions, right? You become numb to emotions. You just become like, I'm just gonna laugh when they say something, even if it's not funny. I'm just gonna laugh, and then pretty soon you're just laughing at everything,
yeah,
right? Or I'm just gonna be happy all the time, but then you're not really ever happy because you're just faking. Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
they become so good at faking emotions, and I'm speaking from experience. Like I'm not speaking for
Hmm.
anybody else. Someone else can disagree with me. That's fine. If that's not you, then whatever. But I can speak for myself. I became so fake for my emotions because I had to fake my emotions all the time. I had to love people when I didn't really love them. I had to hate something when I didn't really hate it. I had to smile when I didn't really want to smile, right? Or you get what I mean? And then
No,
it
yeah,
came to the point where I didn't think I couldn't feel properly, right? When I should be sad, I'm not. When I should be happy, I'm not. When I should be
hmm,
angry, I'm not. Right? Like all these different, like my emotions were completely just like robotic and numb. I didn't really know how to feel.
hmm. No, yeah. And I do remember that because everything, like once they're done love bombing you to get you to where they need you to be, you know, then you realize that you end up being a part of this love bombing for someone new that just came in. But then slowly
Right.
you're like, mm, I'm t- and you get mentally and emotionally tired of showing so much love to someone you barely even know, you know, and
The
you
fakeness.
yeah, like it sucks the soul out of you. Literally sucks the soul out of you. And I mean, I am a joyful person all around, like naturally, but there was times that I didn't want to be joyful because I was having issues at home. I didn't want to come here and smile and make someone else's day feel better. Like I came here to heal myself a little bit, to try and feel some love, but it was empty.
Right.
Because as much as they teach love, like it's not about love.
It's
It's
about image.
100% not about love.
It's about image.
Yeah.
Right.
Image and
Like,
money.
yeah, even in the Brown Book, right? It's a sin to be gloomy when you go on the Sabbath day, right? You can't be gloomy. It's the Sabbath. But the thing is sinners have feelings, right? Like
Yeah.
we have feelings. We are created to express our feelings. And being sad is not a sin. Being
No.
depressed is not a sin. Granted, yes, I think if you try, that's when you need to draw near to God, in my opinion, right? I mean, I know some people watching this are ex-members aren't religious, but I am, so it is what it is. But I think you need to, in those times when you're in those deep pits, right, where there's the walls are closing in, you need someone like God, like Jesus, to be able to help you get out of it, right? And unfortunately, these people just rely on this organization, and there's just none of that there, right? There is no love there. Like us as sinners, like the reason we have a church is to come heal ourselves, to come be ourselves, to come rejoice in each other, rejoice in God. But it doesn't mean we can't feel sad. It doesn't mean we can't go through things. It doesn't mean we can't suffer. You know what I mean? Oh, did it cut out again?
Yeah. Did you ask me something?
No, I was just going on a tangent.
Good. And I hope my face was still on there. So it made it seem like
It
I was
was.
listening.
It was. I was like,
Okay,
wow,
good.
she's not even moving. She must be really eating this up. I'm just kidding. No.
That's so funny because I was like, okay, I need to be in the same position that I was in before this went out so that everything he says can stay in the video.
No, I think it did, so I think it'll be
Yeah,
good.
that's good.
Basically I was just saying like you go to a church because you want to be healed. Like you go to a church
Yeah.
because you want to rejoice, be in God, but it doesn't mean you can't be sad. It doesn't mean you can't be depressed. It doesn't mean you can't have emotions.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what it means. You come together in the body of Christ because a shared sorrow is a half a sorrow, right? Like a shared joy is a double joy. And they would even say that all
Yeah.
the time,
Mm-hmm.
but yet they wouldn't actually live it. Oh, don't tell people your problems. Don't tell people your problems. Only leaders. And then when you ask leaders, oh, why don't you have faith? Oh, Father, Mother will take care of it. Like that doesn't do anything. Anyway,
Yeah. Or a
I'm
Bible.
beating a dead horse at this point. But or just talk to me and say how I'm feeling. Like just like, and I'm not saying nobody does this. I'm just saying if you're not doing it, please start doing it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
And
100%.
I will say too, I've met some of the best people in this church.
Same.
I will say I met some of the best God fearing, holy, righteous, and loving people in this church. Now, it doesn't mean they're perfect, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't mean, and I'm not perfect, right? I screw up
Um,
all the time, right? I'm a sinner. I do stuff I shouldn't do. I get mad. Like, yeah, we're all sinners, right? So for me to cast judgment on somebody it's like a worm telling another worm you're ugly, right? Like, what?
yeah.
So we're all in this together, right? We're
Mhm.
all sinners. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not hating anybody. Um, but at the same time, you have to look at the fruits of this organization, right? Didn't Jesus say, "By your fruits you will know them,"
Mhm.
right? And just because you go to, like, let's say you leave the WMSCOG, you go to another church. Just because you go to another church does not mean they're automatically good either, right? Like you have to do the hard work, you have to do the research, you have to be smart about what you're doing. And you
Mm-hmm.
have to test the fruit. By their fruit, you will know them. Well, what's the fruit that we've discussed thus far? Right? Does this fruit match a good tree? Changing doctrine, hiding things,
Mm-hmm.
deceptive coercion and manipulation, and like all these things. Like by your fruit, by the tree's fruit, you will know them. Right? A
Yeah.
bad tree can't bear good fruit. Like
Yeah.
you can't say, well, the church is good, but all the fruits are bad. That is not how it works. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
not how it works. But I will say though, the people there, yes, do I think it's a cult? 100%. But I will say that the people I have met there, the relationships that I have had there, while they lasted, because obviously they don't have that relationship with me anymore. I hope to continue that relationship at a different time and pick it up. But as far as right now, it doesn't exist. But anyways, the relationships I've had there were the best relationships that I feel like I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And I miss everybody in Salt Lake City, Zion terribly. I really do. I think about them all the time. If I didn't think about them all the time, I would not be doing this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be making videos for the past year. I wouldn't be dissecting early church history and the Bible and Greek and Hebrew and all this stuff for the past year if I did not care. If
Yeah.
I didn't love these people and I didn't think about these people constantly, I wouldn't be doing this. I'm not doing this because I'm bored, right? I have
Mm-hmm.
plenty of other things to do, and I'm sure you have plenty of other things to do as well,
Yes.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's just we do this because we want to, number one, raise awareness, and
Mm-hmm.
number two, we want you guys in the cult, in the church, whatever you want to call it. Maybe I shouldn't use cult anymore because it hurts their feelings. But the church, okay? You guys in the church, the reason we do this is because we want you to have the best life. We want you to be taken care of. We want you to be comforted. We want you to be okay.
Yes.
Um, Regardless of what anyone's done, right? I know tons of people, like this leader aside that you were talking about. I know tons of people that did the same thing. We're sinners, right?
Yeah.
It happens. People do things, whatever, right? But the thing is you have to realize the fruit of this tree, right? And I'm not talking about individual sins. I'm talking about the fruits of the organization, lies, deception, etc. Like what we just talked about. You have to weigh out: is this worth devoting your life to? Is this worth wasting all those precious moments that come in your life that you put the church above, right?
Definitely not.
Is it worth giving 20 to 30% of your income to? Right?
No.
Seriously, is it worth not being able to go on vacation? Is it worth not getting married if that's the case, or not having kids if that's the case? Because I remember our previous overseer, the one that baptized you and me, I remember very clearly he's like, Team B, right? Like, for being fakes.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, you don't
Why
even
is
have any
that
kids.
so? Yeah.
Well, like he doesn't even have any kids. Like what? Like why are you saying we're in the team if you don't have any kids? So I just want you, the member, before you go down any further, just really think about what this is. Like, really just weigh out the options, weigh out the good and the bad. Like, at the end of the day, if you want to continue, God bless you. I hope you nothing but the best. I hope you take care of yourself. I hope you have a full life, a loving life, and a healthy life. But you have to weigh out the good and the bad, and you have to make an educated decision if this is really what you want to do. Don't let me make the decision, right? Don't let Kassandra make the decision. Don't let the church make the decision. You make the decision. Weigh it out. Think about your options. Think about what you've seen. Think about what you've heard. Think about what the Bible says. Think about what your conscience says. And then make the best decision for your life. That's all I would advise you to do out of love and out of care for you. I mean, they can call me Satan. They can call me whatever they want. I don't really care. I'm talking to you, the viewer. Just make sure that this is what you want. Make sure that this is worth it to you. That's
Mhm.
all I ask of you. Do your research. If it's the truth, you'll come back to it. There's no sin in researching. I don't care what they say. There's no sin in researching. There is no sin in looking at the facts, the history. Because if it is true, you'll come right back to it. No problem. Hasn't happened yet, but I'll let you figure that out.
Yeah.
But still, at least do yourself that before you give them any more time, any more money, before you sacrifice any other event in your life, any other time that you should be spending with your family, your loved one, your kids, whatever. Because think about your kids too. Those who have kids, is
Yeah.
this worth raising your kids in?
You don't get
Is
to
this
see them.
worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't
Preach.
raise them. You don't raise them. The overseer's wife raises them majority of the time. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to you? And if you're giving them all this time, all this money, all this attention, right? There can't be, oh, we're changing the doctrine. Oh, the truth is changing. Oh, well, we don't teach that prophecy anymore. Oh, well, we're changing this now. Oh, well, we're not going to give you actually the original books. Oh, well, there's 3 chapters missing, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
The benefits have to outweigh the costs. And I don't see any realm of possibility where these benefits outweigh the cost with this organization. But again, that is not my decision to make. That's not Kassandra's decision to make. That is you, the viewer's decision to make. Um, anyway, that's the end of my tangent. Probably my 4th one on this one. Um,
No problem.
so I apologize, but I think it's really good to talk about these kind of things and work through them real time, because you can't talk about this in front of members, right? I know deep down there's members that feel the same way you and I do. And so it's really important to bring this to light. It's really important to talk about these kind of things, especially those little ones who
Oh,
are being subjected to the kids' room. Um, and I hope, and that's why I do it too, because the little ones, you know. But I guess
yeah.
for the last few minutes here, we'll kind of wrap this up, and maybe we can do part 2 and kind of go a little bit more into your story, like I said in Diana's interview. Maybe we
Yeah.
can do part 2. You can kind of go into your story a little bit, and
Mhm.
you kind of just tell it as you want. But maybe if there's someone watching, and of course you know the Salt Lake members very well, so you know there's going to be
I do.
people who are close to you who are going to be watching this, who are probably shocked seeing you. They might be shocked seeing me, but at this point probably not. But probably definitely shocked being you on the other side here.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to tell them, or is there anything that maybe a member who doesn't know you, just speak from your heart, anything that you want anyone to know?
Yeah. I was silent for a really long time because I felt like it didn't matter. I don't, I didn't believe that my experience or anything that happened to me mattered. And I wanted to just forget it. But the more and more that I see the members that I cared about, that I love, coming out of that too, and then just realizing that we've gone through so many of the same traumas, you know, I I would like us all to heal from this. I would love to see those that I love dearly there. Still, I still think about you all. I know you were probably told not to reach out to me, in my opinion. I believe you were probably told not to reach out to me, that I probably didn't want to talk to any of you, but I am as open as I've always been. I have the same number. I haven't changed a thing. I haven't changed. And if you do want to reach out, you have questions, anything, like, I am still here, and I do still very much love you guys, and I love the kids. I miss the kids. Um, and I hope that you guys are all doing good from the bottom of my heart. And I really did see you guys like family. So I hope you guys felt the same way at some point, and um, that this reaches you when you really need it. Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. And one thing I kind of want to address quickly, because you kind of brought it to my attention, and then we'll wrap it up. But I think a lot of times members feel bad of how they treated ex-members,
Yeah.
right? And they kind of feel ashamed, and they feel like, oh, I treated that person terribly because I was in a cult, right? They're not going to understand if I reach out to them, they're going to be mad that I did these things to them, or like didn't talk to them, or didn't reach out to them, or said they were Satan or whatever, right? Just know, like, we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care. Like, I mean, even if the overseer, the current overseer, who I think is a great guy, let me just say that if you're missionary from Salt Lake right now, or even the previous overseer from Salt Lake, like, just know I think you guys are great people. I have nothing against you guys. I have nothing against the members. Neither does Kassandra. No one, like, we don't have anything against the people in there. Not at all. And seriously, even if like the overseers reached out to me like, hey, let's go grab lunch, let's talk about this, we're sorry, or like if you just want to have a conversation and you want to go grab lunch, I would have no problem doing that. Because I have nothing to fear. Like I have nothing to hide. Like and I think similar case with Kassandra, right? Like maybe there's members who maybe did talk bad about you because they were in the cult, right? It's natural. It happens,
Yeah.
right? You're told things that are, you're thinking a certain way. But just know that ex-members, they don't care about what you did to them in the cult. As soon as you reach out, even if you were enemies inside, you're just met with open arms.
Mm-hmm.
It's water under the bridge. No one cares, right? They're just glad you're out, and they're glad that they can finally talk to you again.
Yeah.
They're glad that they can finally embrace again. They can, and I talk to ex-members from Salt Lake City all the time, and we always talk about like the fun times in the church too. Like we would go, like we did have fun times, right? We did
Yeah.
have good times. It wasn't all, I mean, it wasn't all bad. Yes, was the underlying premise false in the gospel, their gospel false, and Father, Mother, of course, right? Of course, 100%. But still, we had good times. Like there
Yeah.
were some good times. We built
Memory.
those relationships, memories. Yeah, memories.
Yes.
We went to travel places with people, and we got to know people, and we got to meet people, and we had some good memories. Really, and we talk about them all the time. And we're like, oh, you remember when we went and talked to that person? It was crazy, and they were crazy, but turns out we were actually crazy. It's
Yeah.
all good. It's all good, right? Like it's all fun, right? But that's what healing is. That's how you can. That's how you talk when you heal. You can talk about these things. You can, you know, you're not just full of hate. You're not just full of anger, but you also remember the good. You remember the joy. You remember those memories, those people in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I would encourage, yes, if you want to reach out to me, my number's still the same. I'm not in California like some say. I don't know where that came from.
It's weird.
Also, I'm not starting my own church. I heard that I'm starting in my own church. I'm not doing that either. I wouldn't even know how, nor do I care to. And Kassandra, I don't know what they've been saying about you, but we're here. We have the same number. So if you just want to talk to us or even just vent your problems, just if you want somebody to talk to, we don't even have to talk about the church. If you just want somebody to talk to, somebody to vent to, let us know and we can give an ear and give some advice. And you want to continue in the WMSCOG after, go for it. But at least now you have some sort of comfort, some sort of,
Yeah. And that's another
and
thing. I've never I still talk to members that were in while I was gone. There was some members that reached out, right?
oh, good.
Specifically, obviously, I already mentioned my childhood friend and another sister, who, um, by the grace of her having her eyes open, she has also left the church. But even when they would tell me, like, come, like, please come, I never had anything bad to say because I understood that they're still stuck in that mindset, you know,
Right,
and they're not to blame. But I'm not going to talk down on you or tell you like I refuse to go to that place. I'll just tell you I love you. I love
right.
who you are. I love you as a person. Like I've built this relationship with you. I love you. You can talk to me about God the Father, God the Mother, all you want, but I won't say
Not buying
anything bad.
it.
I won't say anything bad to you. I won't convince you to leave the church. But I mean, we don't have to talk about that. You know,
Yeah,
if you
I
do
agree.
reach,
I
we
agree.
don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about it. If anything, I want to know how you are personally,
Yes.
right? I want to know about you. I already know about the Father, Mother. I already know about Sabbath. I already know about Passover. You didn't forget it, right, Kassandra? You know Sabbath on Saturday, right? Like Passover is once a year, first month, 14. Like no one
Yep.
forgets these things,
At
right? No one
Twilight.
forgets. Yeah, see, no one forgets these things.
Yep.
But what we want to know is you. How are you? Like,
Yes.
I want to talk to you. Like, let me
Mm-hmm.
talk to you. But all right. Well, thank you so much, Kassandra, for coming on. We'll probably have you back and do a part two. I have to do Diana's part two first.
No problem.
Priorities,
You got
priorities.
dibs.
But
uh,
yeah, I really appreciate you coming on, and it was really nice to see you again. And
Likewise.
yeah, and the viewers, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and whatever all that does. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Yes. Bye, you guys.